I had been living very close to the limit.
I'm holding my mom's hand while she's crying, while I feel my world collapse.
People depend on me. I don't have the luxury of breaking down.
Losing a child or losing a baby after birth is a failure. You feel like it is a failure, you couldn't make it. But it's not something you should be ashamed of.
As a society, we avoid to talk about loss and grief. We all are gonna lose a job and a relationship, or definitely lose someone we love.
In my late 20s and 30s, my career took off, I got married, I became a mom, and I had this immense pressure to succeed in every angle.
What your background is, what activity you run, or what lifestyle you have. It just can happen to anyone.
One of the most difficult things that we go through as LGBTQIA+ people is coming out. Especially that we are born in a society that tells us, you're wrong.
Mental health is a very lonely place. The only way we can make it not lonely if we have the resilience and the courage to share.
So this is what I can do. I can tell my story so that we can open a conversation about this.
It's the first day of October, and in Texas that means it's still warm and the leaves haven't quite fallen yet. And I've fallen into the very boring routine of the day-to-day, just going to class, going to work, and working on college applications. So I walk into my second class of the day, and the counselor walks in, and she looks uncomfortable. And she tells us, one of our classmates has taken his life. I storm out of the classroom and to my car. And in the school parking lot, I lock myself in my car and I start to scream. And I just keep screaming. I can't stop. And no one seems to notice.
It was kind of miserable. I cried a lot. I complained a lot. I really wasn't happy. I was resentful. I could see the impact on my work. I worked from home at the time, and I had a hard time getting motivated. I was tired a lot. I just really felt off.
And I thought, you're not the successful person you thought you were, are you? You're just like a complete and utter failure.
My mother is diagnosed with scleroderma. A rare and progressive disease with no cure is attacking my mom's organs. To be honest, the diagnosis was heartbreaking.
And I get to the doctor's office, and this very nice lady that I had never seen before very kindly asks me, "So, what brings you here today?" And I open my mouth to say, "Blood tests." And I just can't, because I know it's not true. The lies we tell ourselves. So instead, I have my big bad breakdown right there in her office. The diagnosis is anxiety and depression. At the core, it's stress and burnout.
You know, I was basically taking myself into the grave at an earlier age. If you ask my wife, she would tell you, "David, I don't know how many times you told me that you want to quit and the hell with everything." I gotta do something about this. If I don't act right now, this is going to be very difficult. I'm gonna be in a very difficult place.
If I continue this way, I may not be around to do all the things I want from life.
2024, I was working at home. It was 4:25 when I received a call. The call that I didn't want to receive for so many years. My mom has passed away. Even during 18 months of preparation, the pain and the sadness is profoundly deep and unavoidable. But we found peace knowing that we gave her dignity and love until the end. We learned through this journey that facing grief openly, with love and support, it's really helpful. Pain is inevitable. However, suffering lessened when you talk about it, when you are prepared to face the reality of loss.
I ended up delivering without anesthetics, and they eventually died after a few hours. How it affected me, I realized it is a story worthwhile telling, because it is very sad.
Tengo un acúfeno en el oído izquierdo que me recuerda lo que puede pasar cuando te acercas demasiado al límite.
Moving became practically impossible, incredibly hard to do anything.
Miscarriage is a big taboo, and it's tough.
For us young high school kids, cutting up through traffic with 3 cars, you're the king of the world. We were all saying goodbye, not just to each other, but also to a part of our childhoods. We hit a pole, the car turned, hit a wall, flipped, and was finally settled facing the other way. But in the moment, I don't feel anything. I just feel a knock to the side and closing my eyes, waiting for everything to stop. And then a lot of silence, like a really loud silence. When I looked a couple meters back and I saw where my friend Paula has passed away.
The more I resisted my anxiety, the more it persisted.
It's not a surprise to me that for a period of almost 4 years, there's hardly any pictures of me. I was avoiding them. I was avoiding to be with people as much as I could.
There's nothing more important than education and health. And what we're doing here is bringing both these things together. When somebody takes their life, they feel they don't have alternatives. So what do they need? They need to speak about it, and we need to give them alternatives. In my case, I actually found a group of lone twins. I found 2 groups that support twins who'd lost their twins. And for me, that was an incredible resource because it's a very specific conversation, and I was with people who'd been through the same process. There was an instant bond. I would prefer that what happened to me didn't happen, but there's so many things that have come my way which I would say are a gift. My openness to other ways of treating illness, my connection to people I would never have met, and I would say in my role as a professor, my deep connection with my students when we talk about the big stuff.
It took a while for me to own my womanhood. So I had to question, am I worthy of this life? Am I worthy of my dreams? Will I be able to make it? Because I grew up with my mom and my dad telling me, you can be whoever you want to be. And in fact, if not for them, I won't be as strong and as courageous as I am now. And I'm grateful that even if the world questions my worth, there are two people in my life whom I love the most, who appreciate that they have a trans daughter.
It was not telling me where I'd gone wrong. It was not telling me what I needed to do. It was just simply listening to me.
Getting better has meant loving myself deeply and becoming truly proud of who I am.
But ever since then, I'm a much simpler, slower, albeit happier person.
The truth is that today, anxiety hasn't gone anywhere. In fact, I catch myself most days trying to repress it and hide it. The difference is I can now stop, take a step back, and acknowledge it. And I can accept myself when I'm feeling anxious. With time, you may find that the very source of your struggle can give you meaning and can even become the spark of your contribution to the world.
The main lesson that I learned from all of this is you can't take care of others if you don't put yourself first and take care of yourself.
You know, I think it's a lifelong dream that I had, which was, you know, I want to help other people become better. But I think I've now unlocked maybe two things that uniquely define what I want to do in the rest of my life, which is leverage the brain as a means to an end and help people find their way through better learning, right? And what better place to be than IE University and IE Business School.
I know very impressive people, capable, professional, very smart. And they've been where I have been. And when I was facing my challenge, I looked to them for inspiration and for support. And knowing that they had been where I was and gotten out to the other side was very inspirational for me. So I think I owe it to them, to their bravery, to pay this forward in the way that I can. And I worked very hard to be where I am. I am still working on it. So this is my thank you to my village. And it's also an offer and an invitation for anyone who sees this to be the village of the next person.